So let's go to some stock picks. Is she going with bellwether giant retailer Shoprite?
Yeah, so I think at current levels, very close to its low multiple. If you look over the last 3 years, trading
Hmm.
close to the low end of that band, consistently 3% net income margins, solid top line growth between 9 and 12%, and definitely a really going deep into the South African economy in terms of how much of the population it touches. So I think going forward, still some value there.
Yeah, and of course, going into the banking world, as is it seems almost everyone. Graham Kerner, PayPal.
Yeah, so I think if you mention PayPal in polite company, a lot of people sort of look at you funny.
Yes.
Because a lot of investors held it, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, with all the promise around e-commerce and yeah, it lost 80% of its value. In large part, still doing what they always did. I always say if you look at what the earnings have done, the model hasn't really changed. Although arguably a couple of years ago they were a little bit fixated on growing at all costs and doing pretty lousy margin business. I think there's largely new management team in place there. But when I look at it, it's very much entrenched in e-commerce. Some new initiatives as well. Also well placed, I think, if in a crypto world. But my bottom line is you're paying a sub 11 PE. Dividend yields obviously almost non-existent, but you're paying a sub 11 PE for a business that I think will probably deliver early to mid-teens earnings growth in dollars. So it's kind of in a way, the non-tech stock.
Hmm.
But I think what does need to happen is those people who are hurt need to get out of it, and a new guard of shareholders, lunatics like me, who sort of buy, let's call it reasonable levels of earnings growth on reasonable multiples. So I think you need to see that register transition a little bit further. But I think you're very well placed in a business that in some ways is almost like a utility.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. And I mean, it was what, a $300 stock back in the pandemic. I hadn't realized that it got quite so elevated. There are a lot of people who have painful memories with PayPal. Need them out of the way. That's it for Stockwatch today. Thanks to our guest, Sahish Singh, MP9 Asset Management, going with Shoprite. Graham Kerner from Kerner Perspective, going with PayPal in New York. Up next, the close.